Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 26. I was planning to build a passenger station in the town, maybe even around the industries too. But then the Crime and Justice update was released, and that pretty much decided what the theme of this one will be. So, as a result, we can already look forward to building a police station, the courthouse, and the prison. And let's not forget the star of the show, the rail distribution office. Just FYI, when I was conducting my tests around the time the first test version was made public, I wasn't happy with the size of the prison building. It was a tremendous overkill for the size of the current republic. So, I downloaded a smaller alternative, and since it had a police station from the same creator that matched its architecture, I decided to use both. The first thing we need to do is prepare for the quick building of the justice system. For that, I'll pause construction on the farm for now. It's winter anyways, so at least trucks won't have to trundle along that snowed and dirt road. Quickly checking what projects are active in the offices, I also disable the asphalt road for now. That road end piece got built, that I accidentally made to be asphalt. At least we can connect up the farm fields, so they are ready for spring. And that will give this agro farm 15 fields to deal with. All that's left is to assign them to the distribution house too, along with the drop-off silos, and one side is ready to go. While I need to keep things paused around here, I still need to build the substation, so that's the only thing I keep building. Alright. Time to enable the new gameplay systems. With that, crime is now a thing we need to worry about. First, the police station. They will be responsible for catching lawbreakers and investigating the crimes. As it turns out, the vanilla station has the same number of employees as the one from the workshop, so I assume they are equally as effective. Next up, the courthouse. After the crimes are investigated, the accused party is sent here, where they will be tried in front of a judge. I didn't download any alternatives from the workshop for this one. It's supposed to serve the entire republic, so I'm less bothered about the footprint or the number of employees. Now comes the prison. After their trial, the felons are sent here, and depending on the severity of their offense, they will spend a couple years locked up, away from the public. Now, here I was a bit paranoid about the effects crimes would have on the happiness of the population, so while they are getting built, I disabled the system. But as it will turn out, my fears were unfounded. Our people are so happy and satisfied, that barely anyone will commit crimes. I did mention in the last episode that I will most likely end up moving the new museum building that we placed near the university. It's not a big change, just a small adjustment. I feel like I will be able to beautify the area around it a bit better if it's further away from the heat exchanger. Looking around the town, it seems the new job-seeking AI is still working as the first time I tried it. I think all the investments into new housing really paid off here. Next, I need to make room for the rail distribution office. I thought long and hard about it, and ultimately decided to use this part of the network. It's a nice long stretch, so there is enough room to accommodate both entry and exit off the DO. I just need to make sure I place it as close to center as possible. The length allows me to break it into 3 well-spaced blocks in the end, so it was like it was meant to be. I just need to make sure that both ends are accessible for entering and exiting, and it can cover the entire network. Of course, the signals need to be rearranged a bit, but it's just 2 extra tiny junctions, so nothing fancy. Before I place the signals on the actual branch of the DO, I first need to build the segments, otherwise the track layer would get confused. Speaking of which, this is the first time I'll quick build something in a very long time. To allow said track layer to both enter and exit this construction zone, I need to build this crossing. As I said before, it's temporary, and will be deleted once construction is finished. The 2 segments on the far side are not going to be reachable before the rail DO is finished, but that's to be expected. Next, we need to ensure fire coverage. It's pretty far from everything else, so I decided to just use the road between the town and the industries where I connected up. This dirt road will become obsolete once the asphalt road on the other side of the tracks is complete, so I cannot rely on that. Okay, so the farm substation is done, but I don't see too much activity from the fuel distributors. As it turns out, the train we tasked with selling excess fuels is a bit too overzealous, and it didn't leave enough for the trucks to pick up. I expected this to happen, and I am really happy the rail DO became available when it did. It will allow us to only export fuel if the storage tank gets filled to a certain level, and not let it get emptied out completely. For now, I just sent that train to the depot, and will reassign it to the distribution office once it's built. The fuel can build up until then. Next, we need workers to finish building the memorial in Satsumagrad, and the town office with the buses is just out of range. Thankfully, manually assigning it takes care of that. Next, I just want to prepare for future expansions for our power, so I'll build a high voltage switch right here. Just FYI for the new update, there is a new text input feature for the distribution office percentages. It's a very welcome addition. I just wish it was available everywhere we have to deal with adjusting these numbers, like bus stations, cargo space allocations, etc. And we came back just in time to see the police station finish building. We have a couple cars to choose from, and of course, we will go with the fastest one. There are a couple paint jobs available, and of course, we will use the black one. Although, I think all of them look really good. This particular asset came with really nice skins as a secondary mod, so might as well take advantage of it. In fact, I'm already using a couple buildings from this creator, and they all have this option. I should use it more often. Since we moved this building, we cannot place more trees where it used to be. We will need to wait for the next episode, since the game needs to be reloaded in order to clear this bug. While we wait, let's take a look at our statistics. Happiness is already leveling off after the first drop since the update. This was much greater the first time I tried it, so I'm really happy to see that we are doing better than before. Also, loyalty is still rising, so that's a pretty nice boost. I'm not sure if it's down to the new mechanics, or just the fact that the new job-seeking system keeps the radio station staffed more effectively, hence the big jump. Anyways, religious sympathies seem to have risen since the patch, so I added a 10% anti-religious propaganda to the radio schedule, just to try keep it in check. Also, while I was rambling on, the best snowplow was just made available. Time to sell the old stock, and replace them with these beauties. To make things a bit more interesting, I'll distribute the different color options among them as best I can. And the courthouse is finished. Now we just need the prison, and we are ready to go. And the prison is now also finished. We still need to tell the local DO to start moving clothes and food to it, as well as set up a meat import line with the usual 2 trucks going back and forth, and we are ready to enable the crime and justice system for good. And that's that. From now on, crime will be another aspect of the game that we will need to keep an eye on. Let's wait for the first crime to happen, and follow the first police car dispatched to the scene. Oh yeah. He's going for fuel. We need to tell the fuel DOs to move some over to the police station. That was quick. We already have 1 prisoner serving their sentence in the lockup. Everything's working as it should. Look at that snowplow go. It's clearing that dirt road faster than the speed limit. One of the best investments I made in the game. Now that all critically important constructions are finished, we can start re-enabling projects around the Republic. The asphalt main road is ready to go once more. Okay. So I mentioned in the last episode that I want to make these power cables a bit more tidy. They are a bit all over the place right now. I already did a couple tests on how to proceed, and ended up liking the simplest arrangement. We just have to build them one by one. We don't want to cut power to the overall rail network. The tricky part was making sure that we can free up the correct connections at the same time, so they can be dealt with immediately, while still powering the trains. As you can see, they are crisscrossing each other right now, so it wasn't always obvious which went where. Basically, the two connections facing the power plant will go into its middle outlets, and the rest on the other side will make a U-turn, and connect up with the two outside connections. I also decided to combine the two switches going to the quarries and the farm onto the same line, so we will have 3 dedicated lines going to the rail transformer, and one that will share its power with those two areas. But it will take a little bit to have it all finished. Again, I want to make sure we keep powering the trains during this process. I think it's time to also unpause the farm. The only thing still under construction is the rail distribution office, and it will be finished soon. Very, very soon. It won't be relevant for a little bit longer, but might as well start sending people over to the food factory. At least less people will sit on those buses in vain. Even if they don't do anything productive in the factory, they will still count as having worked that day. Drats. We need to wait for the last delivery of less than a ton of steel to be made before it's finished. I hate it when that happens. The fuel deos are getting very close to their limit of 20 assignments. To ensure that we can continue delivering gas to new areas, we need to build a third office and keep building more as we expand. Eventually, we will need to build outposts, where we will bring in fuel by train, and have similar deo setups to deliver it to the surrounding areas. And the rail distribution office is complete. We can send over the old fuel train, and eliminate the first route from the line list. Unfortunately, we still need to wait for the 2 rail segments on the other side to be built. The DO cannot reach stations on this side of the network without it. Which includes the fuel pickup station. We have 11 prisoners. Not bad. I will spoil it now, but we won't even reach 20 before the episode is over, and we seem to level out at around 16 overall. I think we can continue upgrading the roads around Lukovo a bit more. I'm not sure I will do everything, but the main roads that others use to go through should be paved over, I think. Okay. One side done. Only need to finish the other one, and the rail depot is fully operational. Hey, look! The tractors are already busy sowing the new fields. These new models are incredibly efficient. Now, this is a bit of a boo-boo I make here. I forgot that the construction yard is powered by this 8 megawatt line, so severing it disabled concrete production there, which we need to build the new line segments. Thankfully, the fix will be easier than I expected. Okay, only the catenaries are left, and it's all ready to go. Still only 11 prisoners. Anyways, I think it wouldn't hurt to give them a bit of a patriotic re-education while they are locked away. There we go. Time to start removing a couple lines from the network, and entrust them to the rail depot. Of course, first we will do it for the fuel export line. We just have to make sure to only go for a pickup, if the storage tank is at least 10% full. This will allow the delivery trucks to have at least a little bit to work with, unlike before, where the train kept emptying it out completely, leaving nothing for domestic use. Now, I could theoretically do this for lines with 3 stops, like the bitumen, clothing, crude oil, or the steel lines. But I think I will only do it for the lines with 2 stops. Those 3-stop lines are very specialized, designed to sell any excess production right away. But the other ones, they are perfect for the depot. We don't need the trains importing construction materials to run continuously. By the way, there was a crash cut on the 30th of March. Guess what I was doing when the crash happened? That's right. I was fiddling with the signals around the rail depot. I'm more and more convinced that crashes are caused entirely by the rail signals. Okay, that's the component imports taken care of. Now, let's do this again. And don't crash the game this time. That is it. The rail depot is fully operational. Let's keep assigning the remaining lines to it. And it's done. All the lines that used to run needlessly are now delegated to the rail DO, so from now on, they only use power if absolutely necessary. Well, as I mentioned, that little error with the 8 megawatt power line is now causing pretty big issues. But I also said that it will be an easy fix. Thankfully, the old border construction apparatus is still available to us. We just need to buy a couple concrete mixers there, they will deliver it to the power lines for the foundation work, and everything will be up and running pretty soon. I will also need to temporarily tell the dumpers to pick up gravel from the storage itself, not from the loading station, which need to be powered to work. To make sure the mixers get to the power lines first, I need to delete the other constructions from its list. Okay, the last delivery is on its way. We can unpause the bridge again. The rest of the materials can be picked up without power, so it's smooth sailing from here. All this traffic will disappear as soon as the power is back on. There we go. All those trucks should be able to pick up their cargo now, and deliver them to the construction sites. The number of college students are now less than the capacity. Time to research something. And all the assigned fields are sown. Won't be long before this whole area is fully operational. I think the only thing left is to make it a bit less boring, and plant trees between the fields. Okay, about these wires, time to rearrange the rest. As I said, I want to combine the two switches onto the same line. That one will be going to the second far side connection. That leaves one line left to rebuild. Once everything else is finished, I'll deal with that one too. I will most likely rebuild the line supplying the farm right now. I want to move it between the road and that unfinished rail branch. That will potentially free up some space for another field. Speaking of the unfinished branch. Time to deal with that one too. Like with the rail distribution office, I will first quick build a temporary crossing so the track layer can get around, and then I will start planning the actual new part of this junction. Building this side is kind of unnecessary. And the fact that the track layer won't be able to reach it is the only justification I need to get rid of it later. Yep, that will do just fine. The central buildings for the farm are almost finished. Okay, all other wires are done, time for the last one. And the third fuel distributor is also built. It won't be useful until more buildings come online, but at the very least I can tell it where to pick up gas in the future, and buy the trucks that it will use. This is where I realized that we won't be able to build this side of the junction, and also, that it isn't really necessary. We are not selling food, and even if we decided to do so later, we can still use the old original border to do so. Here, I wanted to check something on the internet, so I decided to just follow this train around while I did so. The footage might get a bit choppy in places, since I was recording, running the game, and using Chrome at the same time. But hopefully the fact that I'm fast forwarding will mask it a little. Okay, I'm back. You might notice that the rail DO is complaining about the lack of power, but as far as I can tell, it's only necessary to use the fuel pumps for diesel trains. Every other important functions are working without it. And the bridge is incredibly close to completion. We just need to wait for the workers to do the final touches, and it's ready to go. Sadly, that bus brought very few workers over, so these last couple workdays are counting down incredibly slowly. And done. We can get rid of that old dirt road now. Now that the trees are more mature around the farm, we can see where we accidentally left some gaps. Okay, before I sign off for today, I still need to name a couple areas after viewers. The old industrial zone from now on will be called Kirchhoff, after Jason Kirkham. The second name was reserved by Brooke Murphy, who wanted something to be called Brooklyningrad. Since it was left up to me, I decided to go with the new farms. As for the next episode, I think we can get back to what we were planning on doing before the new update forced our hand. We need a passenger train station in the town, so we can start moving workers around without relying on buses too much. I'm not sure if I'll be able to retrofit everything we built so far, but at least every new area can be planned around this new method of commuting. As for the next big project, I think it's time to eliminate another import. I cannot decide if it should be bricks, boards, or the prefab panels. I think just for the sake of simplicity, I might go with boards. And since it's so simple, we might even get around to start planning one of the other ones. I guess I'll make my decision when I'm actually recording. I'll need to keep researching technologies in the university, so eventually we can start making our own electronics, chemicals, and other complex products. We have more money than we can use right now. Still, self-sufficiency is the name of the game. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. If you did, dropping a like and subscribing to the channel just might motivate me to make more. Until then, see you later.